The land of Palestine lay under a cold breeze, its skies covered with pale clouds. Villages were drowning in poverty, injustice, and spiritual decline. The children of Israel had fallen into corruption, quarrels, and disobedience to their Lord. Amid this troubled environment lived a pure, pious, and devoted woman, Mary, a symbol of chastity and worship. She spent her days and nights in a small chamber near the sacred temple, praying, fasting, and remembering her Lord with a heart full of purity. One day, while Miriam was alone in her chamber, an unusual radiance filled the room. She looked around in alarm as the light gathered into one corner and materialized into a majestic, luminous figure, Angel Gabriel. She trembled at the sight, fearing the unexpected presence. But the angel said, "Fear not. I am a messenger from your Lord. He has chosen to give you a pure son." Shocked, she replied, "How can I have a son when no man has ever touched me, and I am not unchaste?" Gabriel answered, "Your Lord has decreed it. When he wills something, he only says, 'Be,' and it becomes." In that moment, the divine miracle took place. A soul was placed in her womb by Allah's command, and without the involvement of any man, the blessed child began to grow within her, destined to be a prophet, a healer, and a sign for the world. As the months passed and her pregnancy became visible, people began whispering and accusing. The devout Miriam was pained but remained silent, as Allah had instructed. When the time of birth approached, she withdrew to a lonely desert area near a date palm tree. There, a spring burst forth by Allah's command, and the tree bent down offering fresh dates. In that humble, blessed place, Jesus Isa, peace be upon him, was born. Miriam carried the newborn child back to her people. Their reactions were harsh. Accusations, suspicion, and insults poured upon her. But Allah defended her. The infant Jesus spoke from the cradle, saying, "I am the servant of Allah. He has given me the book and made me a prophet." The crowd fell silent. A newborn speaking was a miracle no one could deny. As Jesus grew, he displayed extraordinary signs. He molded a bird from clay and, by Allah's permission, breathed life into it. The blind regained sight, the lepers were healed, and the sick rose cured. People marveled, yet many remained stubborn. By the time he matured, Jesus was a figure of unmatched grace, his face radiant, his voice gentle, and his words full of wisdom. He called the children of Israel to worship the one God and abandon corruption. Some listened, but many leaders grew jealous and saw him as a threat to their power. They plotted relentlessly against him. One day, while Jesus was with his disciples, he spoke of faith with deep tranquility. The breeze passed softly over the hillside, and the disciples sat around him in silence. He said, "Just as water quenches thirst, the worship of your Lord gives life to the soul." But people demanded miracles as conditions for belief. "Send down a table spread with food from heaven," they said. Jesus prayed, and Allah sent it. Yet even then, doubt remained in many hearts. Eventually, the enemies of Jesus convinced the ruler that Jesus posed a danger. Soldiers were sent to capture him. His disciples panicked, but Jesus reassured them, "Do not fear. Allah is with me." That night, Allah revealed his decree: Jesus would not be killed. Instead, Allah would raise him up. When the enemies approached, Allah cast Jesus' likeness onto one of the conspirators. That man was seized and executed, while the real Jesus was lifted bodily into the heavens. Thus ended the first phase of his mission: miraculous birth, divine signs, preaching, persecution, and ascension. Centuries passed. The world changed, wars erupted, and human hearts darkened. A time came when deceit became widespread, truth was mocked, and evil flourished. Then emerged the greatest trial in human history, the Antichrist Dajjal, a deceiver claiming divinity despite being one-eyed and flawed. Masses followed him, drawn by his illusions and false promises. Humanity trembled under his influence. Believers hid in fear, and chaos swept across nations. In this time of immense trial, a sign appeared. On the eastern side of Damascus, near the white minaret, a bright light descended from the heavens during the early morning. People stared in awe as the light grew brighter. Then they saw a majestic figure descending, supported by two angels. It was Jesus, son of Mary, returning to earth. He wore garments of soft yellowish white, his face shining with tranquility as if droplets of fresh water fell from his hair. The believers recognized him instantly. He entered a mosque where Muslims were preparing for prayer. The imam stepped back, offering Jesus the position of leader, but Jesus gently placed his hand on the imam's shoulder and said, "The leaders of this ummah will be from among themselves." He prayed behind the imam, affirming his obedience to the law of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. After the prayer, Jesus addressed the gathering. "Allah has sent me again to defeat the false Messiah and restore justice upon the earth." As news spread, the Antichrist trembled. He marched with his armies, reassuring his followers, but deep inside he felt fear. He knew his end was near, for only Jesus had the power to stop him. When the two finally faced each other in a valley, the Antichrist tried to flee. The moment he saw Jesus, his power dissolved. His body melted like salt dissolving in water. Jesus caught him and killed him, ending the greatest trial mankind had ever known. This victory ushered in an age of peace. Wars ceased, hatred faded, and justice flourished. Jesus ruled with wisdom and fairness. He broke the cross, abolished the worship of idols, and removed false beliefs. Nations embraced the true message of God. Prosperity spread so widely that no one remained poor. Jesus lived among the people as a humble servant of God. He married, had children, and continued guiding humanity with compassion. Eventually, his final days arrived. He gathered the believers and said, "I am the servant of Allah. Worship him alone. This world will perish, but Allah is eternal." Shortly after this advice, he passed away peacefully. Muslims washed his body, wrapped him in a shroud, and offered the funeral prayer. The earth mourned his departure, but his mission stood complete. Truth had defeated falsehood, and justice had replaced chaos. Thus ended the final chapter of his journey, his return, the defeat of the Antichrist, the establishment of peace, and his earthly departure.